Jake Berry, we had some guys running wild. If you look at the stats from week 2 of Valley High School football, we had some big numbers, huh?
Yeah,
even a quarterback rushed for 200.
Oh, I know. It's incredible. I mean, Lupe Moron continues his dominance of the 5A level, coming all the way from La Villa.
He and any other guy you mentioned for East, like Cervantes, Alexis, I mean, those guys are going bananas running the ball so far. How about Freddie Villarreal for Palmview?
Incredible.
Not bad.
Palmview has Riquenes has turned the boat around there.
2-0, man. So far, so good. Who else is running wild here?
Geez, who is it?
Some other guy, Memorial, some Space guy, Space.
Yeah, I hear he's ranked somewhere in the nation.
Yeah. 285, 204 at the first half. Good gracious.
An incredible game, the way they dominated the first half.
Yeah. Let me tell you another guy. Carlos Garza is a junior for Brownsville Vets, man. This guy, did you see the video? Man, the guy gets to the hole in a hurry. He's pretty tough, man. They got a team, Brownsville Vets. They got to win. After that close loss to Darwin, they got to win. So, we got some guys running wild. We got some teams playing defense. We're starting to put those points on the curve, right? So we now have not one game, but 2. After about 3 or 4, once non-district is over, we'll be able to make a few more predictions, but hopefully we won't. Yeah. I don't want to be wrong. Again.
And there's some teams that have lost some games that I can tell that they're getting better though. You know. And look at PSJ. They came back in let's just say questionable. They say questionable officiating. I haven't seen the tape yet.
You can always find a call or two during a game that doesn't go the way you want, and you can find one that's a little bit questionable. Bottom line is 99% of the time I think those guys do a pretty good job.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to get anybody mad at me. So let's take this first block of games. Here's what we're going to do this week, Jake. We're not going to do a geography lesson this time because we failed miserably on Liberia. It's all right. We're going to work on that later. What we'll do is we'll take a handful of games. We'll talk about the games coming up and then who each of those teams played and if anything stood out to you personnel-wise. First game, EHS at Brownsville Veterans. I told you about Veterans. That's a big team. Their offensive line is huge.
Yeah, it's not the normal, when you think Brownsville, they have numbers. This team actually has numbers. Yep. They have size, and they played 2 great games against PSA North. They dominated PSA North the week before. They lost in a nail-biter to Donna.
That's right. They have such a good offensive line that one of them even scored a touchdown. Eric Vasquez, you see him? He got a fumble in the end zone. Look, Derek Rodriguez is super fast. Marcos Castillo is super fast. This Carlos Garza, I'm telling you, they got a lot of players, man. They do, and their defense looks pretty solid. Ibarro's a good linebacker. I think I'm beginning to like Brownsville Vets.
Yeah, so do I. It was one of those things we didn't know who was going to be those teams in Brownsville that were going to lead the pack, but it looks like they're going to be one of them at least.
If they're one of them, I would believe it. Now, Edinburgh High, we saw those guys. I thought they made some progress, man. They had about 4 times as many yards they did against San Benito that first week. I felt like that team was beginning to find an identity. Playing a tough Mac High team, that was a difficult assignment.
Yeah, and Mac High had played Odessa Permian.
They wanted to win really bad.
Yeah, and look, it was 12-0 at the half.
Hey, man.
Mac High had some chances to put more points on the board in the first half, just didn't come through. A couple turnovers.
A lot of young kids for the Bobcats. John Murillo, pretty fast receiver, number 5. He's a junior. The quarterback, 7. Borrego ran the ball well. Hey, man, don't count the Bobcats out because, like I told you last week, I expected better effort with a lot of heart, and that's what they gave.
Yeah, and look, the Bobcats right now are one of those spoiler teams. They're gonna spoil somebody's season somewhere down the road.
So. I think you're probably right. Okay, stay in Edinburgh for North at 2-0. We're not going to call them the Cardiac Kids. Yeah. We've already said that. I know you. But one could actually. Okay, they play at Edcouts, 0-2. But let me tell you, them young guys are growing older by the week. Last week, Sean Hernandez a touchdown, Andrew Segura 76-yard touchdown. So the sophomores and the juniors, they're coming.
They made a great comeback. They fell
3
short.
touchdowns in 5 minutes. Of course, the fact is if you have to make a great comeback, that means you fell behind. They're still not together. They're making position switches on defense and a couple other places, but you want to get Edcouts now because I bet you by the end of the season they're going to be right there.
Yeah, they're the best 0 and 2 team in the Valley right now.
I would take their front 4 over anybody's in the Valley. I promise you. I'm talking about on defense. Now, okay, so Edinburgh North, living dangerously, field goal kicker deluxe, Michael Cantu.
Come out big.
234 yards receiving. He was incredible, man. He was running all over the field. If it hadn't been for him and Martin Rodriguez, the quarterback, North probably would have lost. Yeah. They couldn't run the ball.
And the thing about that game was Tom Chavez coached for Brownsville.
The crafty veteran.
He did a great job. That 1-minute drill from about the 10 or 12 yard line all the way down. He had a field goal to actually win the game in regulation. Fell short.
And you know what? Let me tell you something, Jake. In the first couple of weeks, the special teams has been kind of spotty all over the Valley. There's a lot of missed extra points and field goals, blocked punts. That's something you expect in September, but boy, you better not get that in October. I can name you 6 or 8 teams right now that need to play special teams in more than 15 minutes on Wednesday.
Yeah, and Edinburgh North, their offense, they're young, so they're trying to get their offense together. They've got a lot of vertical passes to Cantu, but for the most part, their run game,
42 yards on 24 carries. It will get better because Whitesides is a great back, but if he has no blocking, he cannot run.
Mm-hmm. And on defense, also, they're having a hard time wrapping up the running back from Rivetta.
Rueda, a little tiny guy, he was amazing, man. That guy was whoop, whoop. He was like Lionel James from the Chargers.
And he was
back in the 90s.
Yes, and he was a great 5-yard. Every time he touched the ball, it was 5 yards.
He wasn't scared of nobody. Yeah. I swear to God. Well, how tall do you think he was? Daniel Rueda.
5'4".
Probably. Hey, number 17. You keep an eye on that guy. Like I'm telling you, man, if Brownsville had 3 teams instead of 7, they'd be something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm all bitter about Brownsville. Yeah, come on. Okay, PSJ and Economides. PSJ won. Economides lost. So what do you expect? That's a competitive game at Cat Stadium Friday.
I am going to go out on a limb here and say I love Steve Monokine. I like his offense, but
he really rides the coaches. He likes him. He likes this other guy.
Yeah, like everybody. But Economides is a great team. They didn't really show it in the first half against McCallum Memorial. They came back in the second half.
69-38. Who was that? Like an early tournament basketball game again. What?
But Adiola got involved in the second half. I like Economides in the game. I just think they're a tougher team right now. PSJ is a great team, but they haven't really lived up to the expectations that we all thought.
They played 2 rivalry games. Mm-hmm. They lost the first one. They won the second one, 18-14. Did you see Kristen Sanchez run that fumble back 75 yards for a touchdown? He had a convoy, man. The whole team was with him. Guajardo could have scored like 3 times.
Yeah.
Number 6, he's so fast, man. He could have run up down the field by the time homeboy got there. But I'll tell you what, Sanchez is not the only guy on defense. Sealed the game with an interception was Eric Castillo. He's a cornerback or safety. And the big kid, Jonathan Goddessa, 54, is a defensive tackle. I'm telling you, PSJ is going to be there. I have not given up hope on the Bears, not hoping that I think they'll win, but that I feel like that team has the makings of a champ. I promise you, I feel that.
And Coach Cavazos lost a key player. Right now, it looks like something happened with the kid's leg. It looked like a bruise, and it was internal bleeding, so the kid's out for the season. I don't know the name of the kid yet, but I just heard the story.
Spreading idle rumors.
Yeah, but he's got a great team.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to kind of come back from that kind of loss that quick. But I think by district, I think PSG Memorial is making the playoffs. I think they're good enough to make the playoffs.
Hey, what's the name quarterback had a good ball game? Trevino had another 100. So hey, that's anyone wins that rivalry game, and they didn't happen to win it. They're 1-1. So are the Bears. Memorial had that 69-point outburst. That's a lot of points. At San Benito. Now, San Benito looked so great the first week. I don't say they got stomped, but they got manhandled pretty good by East.
Yeah, look, I don't think they could really take a lot. Well, I'm not saying that. It kind of sounds mean, but I don't think you really take a lot from that first week.
Yeah.
It was a young Edinburgh team that new offense, everything. Look, San Benito's got a new coach also.
Yes, they do.
But it was an eye-awakener to play Wesco East. They were down 21-0, came back, made it a game in the first half, and then Wesco East just
21-14. They get to the 1-yard line and lose the football. You cannot turn the ball over inside the 10-yard line like that.
Yeah.
Against a team that's pretty dang good like East, that's your death warrant. Now, Alexis Cervantes, he's a guy that was so good 2 years ago. He sat out some time, came back. The first time he touched the ball, 50 yards to the house. The dude Angel, Florida's had another long touchdown run. Like we were all talking about it. They haven't even gotten a passing yard yet. They're going to need it. But did you see the move Darren Rivas made? Mm-hmm. When he made that run and the dude popped him and he stayed down and put a hand down and scored? There's some great highlights this week. You got to see all the video that we have because you can hear us talk about it, but when you see the play yourself, it really makes a big difference. So Memorial at San Benito, that's going to be a tough game for the Greyhounds, but they've got some players, man. I would expect them to make a pretty good effort. Remember, it's been close the last couple of years.
Yeah, look,
and low scoring.
But it's. Look, everybody's going to try to corral Spates, but I don't think he can. I think he's just, the way he hit the corners against Economides, and I didn't think he was going to be able to hit the corners that easy, because Economides has had their number.
Yeah, that's right, 2 in a row.
And so, if your linebackers aren't fast enough to corral the sides.
Let's say they are, and let's say the kid doesn't have a great game. How about Fabian Pedraza? 7 out of 8, 140 yards, couple of touchdowns to Rocha. Even though I have to pick on my buddy Clay, he called him Fabian Sanchez on TV.
Oh.
Okay, got you. Pedraza had a great ball guy. No, he's going to try to get us for that, but that's all right, man. We'll make our mistake. He can mess with us. But that kid, that's the key. Because if he can do anything near that every game, Memorial might be unstoppable.
Yeah, and they were doing a little combination where they're bringing Pedraza in, they're bringing Sanchez in. And it's a nice combination. Look, I'm not a big fan of musical quarterbacks, but it's working. Sheridan, it's working Sheridan, it's working here. It works in certain places.
Didn't work for the Cowboys back in the late. No, anyway.
Didn't work.
Hey, let me give you a name to watch on defense from Memorial. Had 13 tackles the first game. Joey Delgado is a sophomore. Yeah, and they got a lot of kids, a lot of new kids. They got a big 290-pound tackle. I'm interested to see Memorial. It won't be this week, but eventually I'll get them. Let's finish the first segment by talking about probably the biggest game of the week. McAllen Bulldogs at 101. Harlingen Cardinals, good graces. That didn't go well up there, did it?
It didn't, but it's look. You're playing Reagan. It's not. They've got size also. They've got speed.
Great offensive line.
Yeah, they didn't lose by much. I mean, what can you say? It's.
I didn't score. I saw, but anyway. Hey, this guy. Look, the bottom line is they've got some quarterback issues too.
Yeah.
They got a sophomore in there who, by the way, Castro was an amazing quarterback in 9th grade. He's going to be good. He might be good this week. He needs to be decent if Davis can't play because they need to have a steady quarterback play, let the other guys get down. McAllen Harlingen is a great game, and believe me, those teams go back into the dark ages of Valley football in the 20s when they used to play each other. So I'm very interested to see. Harlingen will be mad as Hornets. They're going to come out and give a great effort. I like what I saw from McAllen. I really did. I think it's a solid ball.
And it's at home. It's at home, so you have to like Harlingen's chances because when they play at Bogus, they're a totally different team. Mm-hmm. So before we go to a break here, I want to tell you about Fred Hover. Big hands. That's my guy. You know what he does better than anybody? He runs the spread or read option with his head up. He knows what he's doing. Him and Ricky have been doing that since they were about 4 years old. So he sees the defense. He reads the defense while he's making, and then he'll either keep it or he'll give it. He's just a very technically sound quarterback. Yeah.
175 yards rushing.
Yeah, and you'll see in the highlights, he hits that corner, that one touchdown where he just goes around, and he's too big to tackle.
He's not gonna win no 40s in shorts, but you know what? He's got pad speed, and that is something you cannot trade because some guys are running 4.5. You get them in a suit and they're running a 5.2 because they can't bend, But Freddie has good pad speed. Anyway, impressed with McAllen. A lot of young defensive guys. That Joseph Garrett came on in the second half and he had some tackles. I thought McAllen has a good ball club. That's a great game.
Who do you like in that game?
Who do I like? Golly, I think the team that I always told you the team that scores the most points will win. I can't bet against a Harlingen team that's mad like that because they're not embarrassed, but they're mad because those guys got a lot of pride. So, God, I don't know, but I can't pick against McAllen either because I thought they looked great the other day. I mean, very solid.
I see Harlingen bringing a blitz every down.
Yeah, okay, well, so Justin Gonzalez went out for McAllen. I hope he comes back a receiver. But this other kid that came in, number 8, and what was his name? Let's see. Ryan Puente had a bunch of catches. They've got plenty of weapons. And Ricky Rodriguez,
another Moya.
They do. There has to be a Moya in the mix. Gosh, man, I'm just going to call McAllen.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
I'm a Harlingen.
Are you?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so what does that mean? That Manny's going to come after me?
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm still quick enough to get away. This is the show. I'm Greg Selber. Please put no stock in the opinions that I have because they're mostly useless. This is Jake Berry. Everything that he says is probably right. We'll be back.